heeled style. Now, as I'm still sorry, I was just looking down at the list down here and I went, someone's still sitting in the waiting room, yet I've opened it. So, as with every presentation and every webinar I do, I want you to get involved with me. I want you to be asking me questions. I want you to be using the chat. And you'll notice on the side there's a little smiley face. And when you click it, you get all sorts of options where you can raise your hand and ask me a question. If I ask you a question, you can give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down, depending whether you like it or not. Hopefully, I'll get you to check your own sound. Hopefully, I do think I'm speaking loud enough for you. And please use this chat session over here. Say hi to everyone. As you can see, typing is not those things, but I want you to get engaged. Now, hi Christina. This and what I want you to be aware of for all of our consultants. As you know, Anne and I are running up to 2-3 webinars every month for you, and you're getting a huge, starting to get a gallery of them, a library of them. And please let us know what questions you have. Today's webinar actually was instigated from a conversation I was having with one of our consultants the other week. And she just finished training. And she said, you know, where do I find more information on shoes? I just feel I don't know enough about shoes. And I went, well, you ask and we'll create a webinar for you. So here we are with today's webinar. And let me tell you that, as you know, look, Anne puts out fabulous posts every week for you to use, but we also have a huge backlog of material that you can access. And much of what I'm sharing with you today has come from our library of materials. And, you know, I'm putting my own spin on it, as we all do. So please remember, you can, you know, we've got the material there for you to use as you go forward. So what am I going to be sharing with you today? Oh, I just realised I should have changed. I've already got a change to here. This is automatically 10. So, stories your shoes tell. What you, how much you should be investing in them. Not your 5, your 10 must-have shoes. Some purchase points, things to look at when you're buying shoes or you're advising your clients on what shoes they should be buying. What does make up a good shoe? Whole lot of styling tips, that what you need to be looking for when you're buying shoes, how fabulous flats are back in, what you need to be looking at for your heels. And I think there's going to be stuff in there you're going to go, really? Things to look at when you're considering the soles of the shoes, things to look at when you're considering the toes of the shoes, what makes good support, because some people will be looking at good support at all ages, and depending what they value will depend what they're going to value in a shoe. Coordination and care and storage. So let me begin, but please, this webinar is for you to learn from. So for those of you who are with me today, pop your questions in there and I will either let you know if we're getting to that or cover them as we go through. So let's begin, shall we? Shoes tell a story. And what I love about this image, it's the same girl and she's put on all her different pairs of raring red shoes with her jeans. And so just because they're jeans and they're red, there is one story to tell. But the style of shoe is also going to give a completely different message. Now, as I said in the beginning, Cinderella lost hers, and Mel, in the lead up to her, Melda amassed hers. Had Cinderella and Melda. Well, I remember that Elvis told it nobody to step on them, but shoes are everywhere. And so, interestingly, some clients who may be very classic in the way they dress might reveal their different personalities in the style of shoes they wear and their different moods. So some people will have wardrobes and wardrobes and wardrobes of shoes. I have actually done some wardrobes where they've just had 2 and 3 pairs. So remember, what you have in your wardrobe may not be what your client has. See, for me, I have a few pairs, but I'm a classic, a court shoe kind of girl. And in fact, I know I've got a Nine West foot, so I can just jump on the Nine West website, see what they've got in their courts, or a pump, depending where you are in the world, and buy them without having to try them on. And I love my heels. Mind you, I have just discovered flats, and but you need to find out from your client what it is that's important to them when you're going out and you're buying shoes for them. So first thing is to find out what it is they value, what's important to them, and then you're going to find out so much more with the shoes that you need to work with. But as I said, every different pair of shoes has a different story to tell. So how much are you going to invest in them? Well, I always say if it's a shoe that you're going to be wearing a lot of, wearing it regularly, maybe it's a work shoe, do invest a lot in it. But if it's a fashion shoe, if it's something you're just going to wear on the odd occasion, look, if you see right here in front of you, those two shoes are very similar. One's $1,000, one's $50. Unless you're going to be wearing the ones on the left all the time, you can get away with the same look with the ones on the right. So sometimes it's worth having a look at what you want to do with the shoes. But if they are a court shoe, as I said, that's something you're going to wear every day, or again, it doesn't even really have to do with the heel height. You might be someone who loves your flats, but you might want to spend a little bit more money in a leather or a suede loafer that's well made than maybe a pair of Crocs that you're just going to throw in on the weekends, or a pair of ballet flats. Something that's just there for a bit of fun, for a bit of colour, a seasonable update is really important. Now, Anne's joined us. I've got to ask, who here has seen the cost per wear calculator that we've just put at the bottom? Well, at the bottom of this page, the bottom of our new My Private Stylist page. You can take your clients there to help them work out the cost per wear of what they're going to wear. It has worked out how many times you're going to wear it in the year, how many times a year. So again, you've got something that's just seasonal. Don't spend hundreds or thousands on it. Spend a little to make the cost per wear valuable. But if it's a shoe that's a classic style that is going to last you a long length of time, it is well worth investing in. So consider that when you're purchasing your shoes. So now here, as I said earlier, here are your 10 best shoes, your must-have. So generally you want 2 pairs of boots. Whether you're going to wear them under or over your jeans, well, clearly you want to be wearing them. You don't need to have a high boot if they're going under jeans. And if you're someone who's got a shorter leg, you're going to be wanting to wear a higher boot with a skirt, unless you're wearing it over jeans and in a similar colour. You don't want to be wearing a contrasting boot on a shorter legs, and you're just going to be looking shorter. But you can definitely do it with trousers and skirts and similar contrasting. So you want one with a higher heel and you want one that's flatter. Must admit, I've just written into my shopping list for myself for this season is a blue heeled boot to wear with my denim jeans and a neutral toned lower flat boot to wear either over or under some of my neutral trousers. Now, and that's something I always recommend, pop in to your shopping list so you know what you're looking for. So when you're out there, sometimes you will see things at the right time. You do want a nice sort of patent leather high heel, either in a black or in one of your good neutrals, which we'll get to. You want a nice mid-high heel. Can be in you generally want that in sort of more of a sheen leather, the mid one, in your good neutral. You want a nude sandal with a bit of a heel. And again, you'll see in a up and coming what your nudes and your neutrals are ideal depending on your colouring. You want a beautiful evening shoe that when you put it on, it can be in a black, a silver, a gold, or a bronze, depending on your neutral. Something that no matter what evening dress you put on, this shoe is going to lift it up and look amazing. Everyone needs a sneaker. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about, a pair of Nike runners, but you want a shoe that can go on that kind of dresses up your casual appearance, and a lace up that's comfortable, that if you're going bushwalking or to a barbecue or somewhere out, shopping with friends, you're going to be comfortable. You want a flat slip on, something that's going to go with most of your clothes, that is going to cover your foot, that is going to stay on. But that is what you'll be covering in, what purchase points of your shoes. Everyone wants a gorgeous flat sandal that you can just pop on with a pair of shorts, with a summer dress, with your bathers. If you're going to the pool, and of course, you want a pair of flip-flops, or as we call them here in Australia, thongs. So if you come down to Australia and someone asks you if you've got your thongs, they're not asking you about your underwear. Just a little heads up there. It can get a bit confusing depending where you are in the world. So these are what everyone needs in their wardrobe. Now, depending on your age, what is in your life, these sandals, these high heels, they don't necessarily need to be towering. When I was in my 30s and 40s and 20s, my evening heels and my really special ones did tower. Yes, I've hit my 50s now. Even my evening ones are not that high anymore, because I've got these gorgeous pairs with a stiletto that's just this polished gold beam, but I can barely walk up the hallway in them anymore. And you know what? There is nothing more distracting than a woman in a gorgeous pair of heels who can't walk in them. It is really a waste of time. So if you've got a client that seriously, now, some women, the art of walking in heels has never left them. And some will suffer for their heels. So if you've got a client like that or you're like that, you wear those heels. But what I'm finding is when I'm going out, I want to enjoy myself. I still want to look good, but those towering heels, there's just kind of a change in the way I walk. So if you find that's for your clients, do not use this grid, but do not say to them, you must be in the towering high heels. They must be in a heel that works for their age and what makes them feel comfortable. And if that heel is here, so be it. That might be your patent high heel pump for your older client. Their mid heel might even be down here. What you do is you adapt and adjust these must-haves for your clients and what works for them. Okay, let's just get to the next one. So these are some things to keep in mind when you're shopping for shoes. These are your purchase points. Go shop. If you're looking for shoes that are going to be comfortable all day, purchase them in the afternoon. Even potentially for evening shoes, because what happens when we wake up in the morning, not only as we know they're a centimetre or two taller, our feet are a little bit more narrower and thinner. And as the day goes on, they spread a little and they fill out a little bit. You start getting a little bit of, fluid retention in your feet. So go shopping for shoes in the afternoon. And I'm sorry, do not listen to anyone who says, oh, it's all right, they're leather, they'll stretch. Now, some leathers, yes, they will stretch. But if that area around your toe, especially if it's in a patent or it's in a faux leather, it's not. Real leather will stretch. So it's okay for it to be snug. But if it's so tight that, your eyes are popping, don't buy it. And especially if there is edging around any, an open toe or around the opening of the shoe, piping or edging there will not give. The leather, where you have an area of leather, that will. But any stretch point or stitched points will not. So do not let anyone in the shoe shop try and convince you otherwise. Wear heels you're comfortable in. I was just sharing that with you before. Arch support and 2 centimetre or 3/4 inch heels are the best. Really, really flat ballet flats. We come to this supports. I have a ridiculously high arch. I can't wear a flat shoe because there is no support for me. Now, for girls who have a flat shoe, they're going to like the flat of the shoe. So, but you'll find a little bit of arch support in the shoe and, a heel about this high is the most comfortable. It kind of lifts, it kind of supports everything. High cut vamp. Now the vamp of the shoe is the point from the point of the toe up to the opening of the shoe. That is the vamp. That is that bit of leather there at the front. So the higher the vamp is, the more comfortable it is. We're going to come to some styling points about the vamp a bit later. A nice sturdy sole will give you some support. And make sure your shoe encases your foot. It's not just sort of hanging on so that when you walk, you've got to flick your foot to hold your shoe on. Interesting, find out also, have a look at and your client will know if they have a foot that allows for the strap at the back of the shoe. I can't wear shoes that have no back heel on them. My heel does not hold up those back straps. They will just fall down. So you want to know that your shoe, now some people, they can just pop them in, they can run in them. When you pop your shoes on the ground, before you buy them, especially for cheaper ones, sit them on the floor and look at them. See, are they sturdy? See, are the heels the same? You don't want, if your shoe is unbalanced, guess what? So will you be. And you want the heel of the shoe to sit directly under the heel of your foot. I've got a nice image of that for you later. And the tip of your shoe needs to slightly tip up so that when you're walking, because when your foot walks, it has a rolling motion and you need to allow for that tip to move with that motion. So these are things to look for when you're shopping. Here's some interesting. What makes up a good shoe? Let's get the pointer here. So if you have the back height here, the higher it is, the more it sits. The heel here needs to sit directly under your heel. The heel pinch here needs to be well stitched. The heel needs to be attached. Now what you need to do is pop your finger. I'm hoping everyone can see my pointer on the screen here. Can someone give me a thumb up just to make sure you can see my pointer on the screen here? Someone. Ah, great. Okay, now for the heel attachment, pop your finger in here and you should feel where it is, but you want to have a little bit of padding over that, because guess what? No padding over that, and that is really going to be uncomfortable the longer you're in your shoe during the day. The material, a good material, you want a leather inner and upper on the inside. Doesn't necessarily need to be leather on the outside, but that will allow your foot to breathe, and the motion of your foot against the back of the shoe, there won't be friction forming. But if that's a polyester or a pleather, guess what? You're going to get rubbing and you're going to get blisters. So, and also you're going to have sweating. When you have sweating, your feet start to smell. When your feet start to smell, you're like that ad where someone goes to a Japanese restaurant and she goes, let's go somewhere else because you're too afraid to take your shoes off in public. Here's a little known fact. I believe it's up to a quarter of a cup of fluid can be come out of our feet during any given day. So that's why you need leather, so that your foot does breathe or it starts sweating. Isn't that one of those facts? Hi, Nikki. Good to see you. Sandra, thanks for giving me that you can hear. Top stitching. If it's stitched there, your shoe will retain its shape. You're not going to have it all bent out of shape at the front. And see here, we've got our toe spring that we talked about. And you know, like a little bit of bonding, especially in your shoes, because the last thing you want is that coming away. You know what? Keep an eye on the bottom of your heels here. I find a lot of my shoes last well, but this doesn't. So, and sometimes I wear them out here. Because I often buy a good shoe, this is where they wear out. So just take them to your boot maker, and you can tell when these are starting to wear out, because when all of this is good, you can walk like a ninja. No one hears you. And the minute this wears out, you start click-clacking everywhere you go. And often you'll find if your feet have a slight roll, if your feet are not flat, you'll wear one side out more than the other. So this can also, if you see that there's heavy wear on one side, that might be a sign maybe go to an orthopedic sort of or podiatrist, see if your feet are rolled, because if your feet are rolled, that can be creating back damage. See, all of these things you can discover just from your shoes, and just by checking where the wear is on the bottom can tell you, maybe I should go, maybe I can find out. Then you'll know whether you're getting the right hip tilt, backs, and all of that. You can find out yourself. So these are things to look for in a good shoe, and what to look for. So let's have a look at. Has anyone else got any questions on anything else to look for here? Styling for impact. All right. So just go here. Ankle boots. Ankle boots are great. They can be quite funky, but they're really good on a longer, slimmer leg, because what they can end up doing is bringing the eye down here, the horizontal line. From our training, we all know what horizontal lines do. They stop the eye. So if your client's got a little bit of a heavier leg, guess what? Pop them into either under trousers or under a longer skirt, or put them with an opaque tight. Then you don't even notice them. You get to have the fun because you know what? Especially now that it's winter down here for us Australians, it's getting cold. I want to wear my boots more often, but I don't always want to be wearing a high boot. So I'll often wear just an ankle boot. And also they can be really quite fun with a longer skirt. So you can do them in summer with just, a pair of socks, or in winter with a pair of tights. So that helps you with your shoes, wearing ankle boots. Now, remember I was talking about the vamp before. It's this little area here. It's the leather at the front of the shoe. Yes, I know there's an opening there, but this is technically a high vamp shoe. Clearly, the more leg you see, the longer your leg looks. So if someone has short legs, lower vamp. You don't keeping in mind though, the lower it is, we start seeing toe cleavage. As just as you're seeing, I keep having to pull this up. So if you've got a client in corporate, you don't want, and she's got, okay, client corporate short legs. You don't want this very low to make, you want it low to make her legs look longer, but you don't want it so low that her toe cleavage is showing up. We'll go that way, because that is a bit like having cleavage up here, because some weird men sort of look at it and go, ooh, don't want that. Anyway, so the medium is the easiest, and the high vamp, long leg girls, fashion, or with styled with tights, is ideal. So now remember, whatever shoes you're wearing, it completes the outfit, because when we look at a person, we look at the whole person. And this is great. She's got, the color and the flamboyance, which is going with the outfit. That is a fun shoe. You look at that and you go, wow, yes, that completes that fun outfit. We've got sort of these shoes. They're a little bit not as fun as these, but they've got a good heel, and there's a little bit more serious about them. I'm a bit concerned that her toes are hanging so much over the edge. I don't think that's, but she's living there and it's a bit stylish. The flat heel here, it's saying, I'm relaxed, I'm having a good time, not too serious. She is just looking stylish and elegant. As Anne said, she's got the stacked heel. It is about being serious and just sort of about getting there to work. And this girl's got a little kitten heel on to add a little bit of a feminine look to it. So she can be walking towards you and you're thinking, yeah, she's in style, and as she walks away as a little design feature. So you've got to look at the whole shoe and see how it's, what mood, what impact your clients are giving. And here you want to look at the style and the weight of your shoe with the outfit. So here we've got a heaviness in the jacket, and there's a heaviness in the shoe, but it's not overwhelming. And look at the puffiness in the jacket here, and there's almost a puffiness in the shoe down here. Here we've got a sheerness in the jacket, and we've got a sheerness in the shoe. We're balancing, because remember, we always look from the bottom. What is on your feet needs to bring the eye back up. What is great here is these shoes, you might sit there and go, but they're just, you go, wow, all the way up to the hatch. And the casualness, this is coming into the really casual look, and the lightness of her hair and the casual effect it's got, and bringing out the elements of the white in her outfit. And last but not least, her shoes are reflected in her glasses and the femininity of her outfit. So, and it's a feminine shoe, it's a feminine color. So can you see how all the way along what you're wearing on your feet, isn't an afterthought? It is so much a very important part of what's going on up here and where the eye is going. So imagine if this girl had these heavy shoes on, or sometimes you'll see someone who'll have like a red shoe on with a red handbag. Then the eye, it's all staying down. And here, what you want to do is coordinate your neutral shoes with your hair. Because sometimes when you're wearing a patterned or a coloured outfit, it's like, there might be a whole lot of red in it, but you don't have a red shoe. So what do you wear? Well, what you want to do is coordinate your neutrals with your colouring. So when you're working with your client's wardrobe, remember up here, we were saying, you want to have some shoes and that are like they're neutrals that will go with everything. Well, consider this. If your client is a blonde, a wardrobe full of black shoes may not be her best go-to shoe to complete that harmonious package. So you might be looking at nudes and neutrals for her. If your client is a redhead, you might be wanting to look at more of those bronzes and browns. With this client, you're going to be also per evening. You want to also be looking at some clears or some things with a bit of, could be a gold or a silver, depending on her colouring. With these, you're probably going to have more golds. With the girls with the dark hair, maybe more silver. But can you see how not everyone's neutral is going to be a black? Because if you pop black on these girls and she's got a pink dress or a red dress or a blue dress, and you think, well, there's a neutral, goes, well, where's the harmony? So you want the neutrals to go with their colouring. And when it comes to flats, and I can't believe it, those of you who know me will know that I am very much, have always been about heels. But of late, I have, and maybe it's just age, I don't know, I'm embracing the flat and I'm loving it. So keep this in mind. Flats with short skirts are very playful and quite sexy. Even if you've got this even if you've got sort of your Doc Marten style boot, that's a bit more rebellious. Then you've got a leopard print with this fun skirt. That is quite flirtatious. And then we've got, of course, Taylor, and the harmony. I love the way she harmonizes the shape of this flat with the flip and the skirt and the line of her top. So there's so much harmony going on there. But they're fun, they're flirtatious, they're great on younger girls. Then you see, if you go with a longer skirt and the flat shoe, it is saying, I'm stylish, I'm relaxed, and I'm a little bit casual today. I'm not taking everything in my life so seriously today. Doesn't mean I'm sort of, I'm casual in that I don't care about what's going on. These are still all very stylish looks, but they don't have to be wearing a heel to say I'm sophisticated and I'm professional. The flats today are doing it just as well as heels can. But as you get older, it's about knowing your flats with something a little bit shorter. You start doing it with something a bit longer. You start doing it with a very short skirt, and you kind of, especially when you're a bit about at my age, you're kind of looking a little bit, shall be careful, a little bit muttonish. But if you're still young at heart and you've got good legs, you don't have knee sag, and you've got beautiful legs, and it doesn't look out of place when you do it if you've got the personality. Again, you as image consultants will know with your client, do they have the personality? Do they have the legs? Do they have the lifestyle to do it? But we can do this at any age and look really sophisticated and really gorgeous. And here's another thing you can do with flats. This is what's great. The pointed flats are in everywhere in the moment. And what you can do is when with your jeans, you wear, because sometimes flats can have a tendency to make your leg look a little shorter because it kind of stops, bang, and the foot comes out this way. It looks a bit longer. So if you roll up the hem of your trousers just a little bit, we're not talking about going capri or 3/4, just above the ankle, you start seeing more leg, start getting more length. And this is where, and you're going to find this is something where you're going to have to work with your client because of something I'm about to say, but the pointed shoe gives the foot a little bit more length. The rounded shoe at this stage can cut the foot off and make it look shorter. So the pointed shoe gives it more length. It's a little bit more fun, a little bit more fashionable, and really in at the moment, especially the Northern Hemisphere where they're going into spring and summer. This will be a look you'll be seeing, and I saw this a lot. I saw a lot of this when I was just recently in Dubai, and we had a lot of this summer. So it's a great look to be doing at the moment. But now this is the next thing to look at. And who thought a shoe was a shoe? To look at for your clients is the kind of detailing on your shoe, on your flats, must harmonize with your clients' scale, with their feet, with their ankles, with their overall look, and I'm about to share with you with their face. But delicate detailing on a shoe is for someone who's delicate. So if you've got a client with fine ankles, fine heels, fine straps, fine decoration, small feet, all of the above. If they are a little bit heavier, full of feet, thicker, broader feet, I've got a broad foot, heavier ankles, marked legs, then you want a more substantial shoe to work with your client's scale, with their look, with their features. The more substantial your client, the more substantial their shoe needs to be. The last thing you want is someone on a very delicate heel, especially with a very heavy ankle, and from behind people are going to look at them and go, is that shoe going to carry that person? Or someone with a few years ago, when those really heavy, chunky shoes were in, you see these delicate girls with delicate legs, tiny little ankles, and these shoes. And it was like watching Minnie Mouse walk down the street. There is something very wrong with that picture. So you want to balance your clients' flats, their shoes, with their legs, their ankles, their calves, and their overall body. So these are the kind of heel, this is heel height. So you see we've got here from the highest and it goes down. And, I always love these ones because when you come across, they're not that high, but they have the impression. The easiest heel to wear, as I said earlier, is around 2 centimeters, 3/4 of an inch, around 4 to 5 centimeters, which I think is about 2.5 inches, is an everyday, and that's sort of this one in the middle, everyday heel height. When you get here, you're starting to get up to the fashion ends, and these are the more relaxed, easygoing ends. So this is to look at where, and the higher your heel, the longer your leg is going to look. These are the kind of heels that are out there. You've got a cone, straight. You've got the kitten, which is a tiny little hip. You've got your stacked heels. Now your stacked and your wedge heels are the most easygoing everyday heels to wear because they've got the most support under your client's foot. So if your client is looking for, especially a work shoe, and they have to wear a heel to work, although we have seen all of those reports. And a lot of people now, pushing the envelope with dress codes and saying, we shouldn't have to wear heels. I don't want to have to wear heels. I personally believe if you're going to wear a skirt, a small heel looks nice, especially in a professional, in a corporate environment. I kind of feel a flat shoe, especially if your client, if they're wearing a ballet flat and a straight skirt, it's a contradiction in terms. So I'd be recommending if your clients, they're going to be in corporate, they want to wear flats, get them to wear trousers. But that is a whole other conversation. But your wedge and your stacked heels, you can walk in them all day. So whilst this is your classic heel, if you get, I'm going next slide, you'll see some different styles. In a slightly fuller heel, it is more comfortable for your client to be in all day. And these are just having some fun. These are what I was talking about before, the pair of heels I've got. Gorgeous evening shoes. I just don't wear them anymore because can I tell you, that is hurting me before I've left the house. And here's something to remember. As you get older, all the padding all over your body, well, your cheeks, they start thinning out. Your feet, your hands, we start losing all the collagen and the wrinkles start coming in. Funny how we start developing padding in other parts of the body. But everything that sort of used to be full and padded, like all of our busts, I used to sit up high. Now there's nothing in the base of the feet. There's nowhere, the cushioning. You're all wondering where the hell's she going, Indigo? I know. The cushioning goes on the base of our feet. So that's why heels like this aren't always. Yes, Anne's with them. There's some parts we wish we'd lose the padding. So that is why, as we get older, shoes like this, it's not that we can't wear them. We can't put our padding's gone. So if you've got a client that insists on wearing them, get them to wear their gel paddings, their party feet, and they'll be able to. But for me, I just sit there, the base of my heels, it's just like, ow. And if I'm saying ow before I've left the door, well, guess what? I'm taking them off. So, but I will still wear things like this. Can't help myself. But now, here's something to consider. The shape of the heel, you want it to relate to the shape of your client. Now, this is not the way your client looks from the front. Wheel them around, look at their back, and you will have clients who, due to their rib cage being quite close to their hips, they do not have, or they may have had children, they have quite a straight rib cage from the armpit down to the hips. So we're going to look at them as more your rectangular shapes. They might even go into some of the more triangular shapes or the rounder shapes. Spin them around, because what they look at from behind, depending where everything is distributed from, can be completely different. Feel their back. Their back may come in and go down and out to hips. They have what I call a waisted back. W-A-I-S-T-E-D, not W-A-S-T-E-D. So if someone has a waisted back, they want a waisted heel. They want a curve so that as they're walking away from someone, you're going to see this curve, and you go down, there's the curve again, and the heel of the foot. Harmony, complete harmony in what you're wearing. Here we have the straight. So if you feel them and it's straight, bang, 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 from their back, they want a straight heel. So when they're walking, you've got harmony in the hip, on the back to the waist. So that is something not a lot of people consider. I consider that all the time when I'm buying my heels, and something you should as well. Now, one thing you want to consider is the shape of the toes. Because when you're walking towards someone, You want the shape of the toe now. These ones at the top are going to make your legs look slimmer and longer. Remember I said before, the pointed ones with the short legs and the flat shoes make the leg look longer. When you start cutting it off, it can make the foot look shorter. So everyone I know is going to be thinking, well, I'm just going to put everyone into an almond or a tapered or a pointed shoe. That may be so, but here's a little something else to consider. Let me just tell you though, the almond is kind of your go-to shoe for everyone and your tapered, because if you've got clients with sort of more yin face, when we talk about colour, and those of us who have studied colour with us will know that the colouring that goes with the yin, they're going to be better in the almond, and the tapered are going to be more of the yang. But more of that later in another webinar. But here you see when you're looking at your clients' facial features. So these girls have more elements that are rounded to them. They don't have particularly aquiline noses. They have sort of fuller faces. They're going to look better in shoes that are a little bit more rounded. If they want to do the point, look here. They can throw something more round on their point. These girls, look, there's angles in their features. They've got strong aquiline noses. They look good in the pointed shoes. These straight noses, there's straight lines. They look good in shoes that have straps and straight lines and everything that goes straight with it. Now these girls have, look at that almond-shaped chin. Nowhere near as broad as here. She's going to be better in the almond, and she's a combination. So that's where, if it's someone who's a bit of a combination or they can't do these very straight elements, you can do them in an open toe with some straight elements in there, or do combinations of both straight and angles. But you never thought of that before. Now, our soles. The thinner the sole, the more formal your shoe is, the thicker it is, the more fashionable, and sometimes the more comfortable. And this one here is definitely an all-season soles. I've still got quite a few more slides to go, but I just want to check, does anyone have any questions? Make sure you're writing your questions in here, because I don't want to run out of time and not have got a chance to ask you questions as we're going through. So when we're talking about support, remember earlier I was saying you want your heel directly under your heel. Look at that. That heel is not under her foot. It's at the back. All I can think, all my head screams is pain looking at those shoes. See here? You put it under, and see, high heels place 7 times your body weight onto the front of your foot. So we're hoping that girl's quite slender. And also, the more balanced your foot is, because this is where all the pain points can be in your body if you are not balanced here. So see here, if I put a flat shoe on, I know it sounds ridiculous, with my arch, and there's no support there, ouch. I was having just having a massage, and a girlfriend of mine who does massage and always saw me in my heels went, Claire, you were doing so much damage to your back wearing those heels. I'm like, really? Because a lot of my heels shaped like that in the inside. She was giving me a massage, saw the amount of arch there, and she went, oh, because my arch kind of does that inner heel. She went, you've actually got high feet designed for heels. I said, I know. So, but if you've got a flat arch, that is why this can be uncomfortable, because your foot doesn't create the right shape. But make sure your foot is supported, just so you know that you can look after your shoes. Now, when it comes to storage. And we've got some fun here. I thought these were great. We've got here like some just using some boards and some kids things on pegs. And can I tell you, the storage goes up as all of this goes up. Here, yes, Nikki, lower heels are better for flat arch than high heels. High heel people that wear flat arches and high heels create a lot of pain. How's this? Hide your heels in your shoes, in your stairs. I think that's a bit of fun. Or there's a lot of storage places. And in fact, do you know what's quite interesting? Behind my desk, what this monitor here is sitting on is one of these. But I don't have shoes in it. I've got folders and files in it because it's open from the back and I can actually lean down. So that's another use for these. As we go up, how's this? Couple of coat hangers, twist the ends, or the good old in your wardrobe, stack them up. And these are good because they allow your shoes to air. And then, of course, we start getting into clear boxes or shoe boxes, and you actually put a photo of the shoe in there. And I know someone, I saw her wardrobe, she does all of that. Now, the thing to keep in mind is there's all different types of shoes, and you do need to take care of them. So we've got unfinished leather. With these, you want to treat them with a water protectant so that water doesn't get into them. With a shoe like this, you can use a spray-on one. With a shoe like this, you can use like a cream and rub it in. What I do, especially like with my boots that are just a matte leather, is I've got a cream treatment, and I will treat them with quite a heavy dose of cream at the end of winter so that they're nice and protected as during summer when there's lying there dormant. But always make sure you treat your shoes. Now, if you've got shoes that are suede, what you need to do with a suede shoe is get a suede brush and just give them a slight sort of rub to treat the shoe. Spray them with a suede spray so that they are water resistant. And you'll find that water will bead off them. But just get yourself, the suede brush looks like it's got little ripples of eraser on them. You don't want it too heavy because you don't want to be ripping the suede off them. A regular leather shoe, you can treat them with a cream treatment. As I said, do that with all of your shoes when you bring them home, especially shoes for winter, so that way when you go out in the weather, you don't get any rain damage on them. Now, if you've got a patent leather, the good thing with patent leather, they are already impervious to rain, so wipe them down with a soft cloth to treat them. And your satin shoes, be really, Anne was telling me there's now a nanotechnology spray. Which shoes are they for? Is it for all shoes or just certain types, Anne? All shoes, including satin. Now, one thing I would tell you, if you have a satin shoe, I would ask, and I'll wait to hear because sometimes when you're spraying a satin shoe, and if this nanotechnology is a solution, sometimes if it's not a very delicate mist, you can get spots on it. But if that's there, you really need to protect your shoes and protect your heels. So as I said before, the heels. Now, if you have a leather-heeled shoe, and it's a shoe you're going to be wearing regularly for work, you might want to take it to your bootmaker and get a Topy heel on, T-O-P-Y. what that does is it's kind of like a little bit of a rubber heel. It makes the sole of your shoe more durable, gives it a bit more comfort, because the thicker the heel, like a rubber heel, it goes on everything, but it makes your shoe look more less elegant. But on a shoe like this, a taupey heel will make it more durable, whereas a leather heel you can, with a leather heel, you can walk out of it. Nikki, if you don't have the Nanotech and you've got satin shoes, I would take them to a bootmaker and get him to put a spray on them if you're nervous yourself. And she's saying it's Nano 4. Google it. Whilst I'm talking, I'm sure someone, now those of you who are watching this, you probably don't want to run away while I'm here, but on that, you know what, we're going to stick it into the Image Innovators Facebook group after this talk. Details on it. So we're almost at the end. I had to save with you, so I've sort of been going around how these are the ideal storage solution. The rotating shoe storage. I so want one of these. So keep in mind, you know, there's so much when we think about what there is, what we talk about with shoes. So we know that every shoe tells a story. Invest, you know, wisely in shoes you're going to wear a lot. Go to the app on our website to work out if it's a cost per wear, if it's a good investment or not. And as Anna was saying, you don't even have to be logged in to use that app. We've got your, you know, your must-have shoes. If you're wondering what to write, everyone, for a newsletter to your clients this month, write about the must-have shoes. And then another month, write about what your great purchase points are. Write about what is a good shoes. How's this for newsletter ideas you're getting? You know how to style it, impact, use them to go with your outfit, to go with the values, to create a mood, to make you look taller, to make you look slimmer. The more it goes with the look and colour that's on your leg, the longer and taller you're going to be. Flats are fabulous now. Your heels, you want them to be under there to give you support. The thicker they are, the sturdier they are, the shape matches your back is harmonious as you go along. The soles on it, the thicker they are, the more sturdy they are, the finer they are, the more formal they are. And the toes, you want them to be a little bit tipped so you don't tip over. And you want them to go with your feature. You need your shoes to support you so you don't have pain going through all other point. And as Anne was saying, you want to have enough room in the toe so that your toes fit in there. Coordinate with your garment and care for them. And as I leave, I'm hoping I've got, here's a little word to the wise from Cinderella. If her shoes were so wonderful, why did they fall off her? If she had the correct fit, they wouldn't have fallen off her as she ran out of the ball. So just before we go, if you've got any questions, whilst you're popping in your questions, I just want to let you know our next webinar, because Anne and I know we had one done for Thursday, but Mexico, seriously? Actually, I'm going to end the event here, but come back in. So everyone, I'm just going to stop recording now. So I just want to say it's been great. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we hope you watch the rest of our webinars.